I'm proud to be with you today as we celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King dedicated his life to advocating for justice, equity, and serving his community. Mississippi Power has proudly served our state for 100 years. That's right, this year is our centennial. And we want to mark our centennial with a continued commitment to excellence and service. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing a friend of mine of more than 20 years, Chris Womak. Chris is the chairman, president, and CEO of Mississippi Power's parent company, Southern Company. Southern Company is one of the nation's lead energy suppliers, serving more than 9 million customers and businesses nationwide. Chris's journey began at Southern Company in 1988, and he has since held leadership positions at Southern Company, Georgia Power, Alabama Power, and include most recently, before his prior position, Chairman, President, and CEO of Georgia Power. Beyond his professional achievements, Chris is deeply committed to community service and is regarded as a leading voice in the electric utility industry. But beyond Chris's professional achievements, he is deeply committed to community service and is regarded as a leading voice. He has also been a champion of intentional inclusion and equity. He developed Southern Company's equity framework in 2020, and under his leadership, Southern Company has donated $50 million to HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. And that contribution is just a part of the company's commitment to support education and promote equity and inclusion. During his time as chair of the East Lake Foundation, Chris played an integral part in the revitalization of the East Lake community in Atlanta. It's a shining example of how private-public partnerships can transform an underserved area and improve educational outcomes, reduce crime rates, and increase economic opportunities for residents. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Chris Womak.
Hey guys, good afternoon. I am so thrilled and excited to be with you today, but more importantly, thank you for being here. I imagine some of you probably spent a couple hours in church today, and there are a couple of good football games going on right now, and so you have chosen to do this, so I am so thankful for you being here. Melvin, thank you for that very kind introduction, but also let me thank my colleagues from Mississippi Power for their presence here. We are so proud of Mississippi Power Company and the 100 years that they have been in service, serving this community, being that little company that could, as we learned, some 23 years ago, Hurricane Katrina, that little company that could, that took the big hit, every customer being out of service, but in a short period of time, they restored service to all their customers and also helped the revitalization of this Gulf Coast community. It's a pleasure for me to be here. And I grew up about 160 odd miles from here in South Alabama. So this always feels like home to me when I come here. And since I have been in this role of chairman and CEO of Southern Company, I think the Mississippi Power folks are probably tired of seeing me because I always find my way to get down here to Mississippi because there's so many things that remind me of home. It's the fellowship, it's the connections, it's the engagement, and yeah, the food always has something to do with it, but there's really just a warm feeling that I always get when I come here. I want to do and just say just a few words. I'm not going to take long because I know it's been a long day. But I do. Let me say one more thing. Legacy Business League. Thank you so very much for what you are doing. Tamika, all the others on the board. Thank you so much for what you're doing in terms of putting this together, bringing people together. How do you create this collaboration, the opportunity for people to share minority enterprise development activities, professional development? There are so many things you're doing, the networking. That's how you build businesses. But more importantly, that's how you build communities, which I think is so critically important for us today. We all must build communities. We all must find ways to collaborate, because guess what? You can't do anything by yourself. You can't do anything by yourself. You have to have help from others. And so when you create these kind of opportunities, when you create these kind of organizations and you do the things that you're doing, that's how you make a difference, and that's what we are here to do today. Dr. King died when he was 39 years old. And since 1983, when President Reagan signed the bill that created the King holiday, we have recognized him on every third Monday of January to acknowledge the life and legacy of Dr. King. When I grew up in South Alabama, he came to churches in my neighborhood, and I saw him often and listened to him and saw kind of the motivation he gave so many as he talked about things that were kind of simple. It was about freedom. It was about fairness. It was about equality. It was about every individual having the opportunity to live that life of because we all are very equal. We all are equal. And simply that's what he was asking and challenging us and challenging our communities to do. I mean, when I think about it, I mean, as he was born in 1929, I mean, so he saw in his early years the Great Depression. I mean, he saw the difficulties of that period. I mean, he went through World War II. And then he saw the Jim Crow South. He saw all the challenges that society presented to us and said there has got to be a better way. There's got to be the opportunity for all of us to succeed, for all of us to aspire, for all of us to be all that we want to be. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, as a young black kid, growing up in South Alabama in the 60s and the 70s, I mean, I didn't know about being the CEO of the 138th ranked company on Fortune magazine, Fortune 500. I didn't think about being the CEO that would run a $90+ billion company. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't even think about it. But I have to tell you, I grew up with a praying grandmother who always said, you can be whatever you want to be. Now you got to put the work in. You got to do all the preparation. You got to put the hard work in. You got to put the time in. You got to be fair to people. You got to treat people right. Okay? And yes, you're gonna find challenges. You're gonna find difficulties. But guess what? You never give up. You never give up and you never give in. You keep aspiring. And so many of the words of Dr. King were relevant then, and they are so relevant today. Because our world, we have the political division that we see. But we can't get distracted by that because we have work to do that's not political. We have to focus on things of making sure we're advancing opportunities for everybody, that we're closing wealth gaps. I mean, still today, and the wealth gap between blacks and whites continue to expand. The last numbers I saw, the Brookings Institute did a study back in 2024. The gap for families is about $240,000 between black families and white families. So how do we correct that? Education. Jobs, growing the economy, the work that the Legacy Business League is doing. This is how we create more businesses. This is how we create more opportunities. This is the stuff we have to do to make sure that we're providing opportunities for each and every one. You know, as we look at where we are today in society, and I got a heavy heart. My younger brother lives in Los Angeles, and so he's okay. But we see so many families that have lost their homes. You've seen some 12,000 structures that have been completely wiped away because of these fires. And so you think about how are they going to get back on their feet, and what hope that we offer them. And as we think about the phoenix, what does the phoenix do? The phoenix rises from the ashes. And so in the midst of devastation, in the midst of trauma, in the midst of grief, we have to make sure that we're always giving hope that there's a better day on the other side. There's a better day coming. And so Mississippi and the Legacy Business League and me coming here, what I want to say is we never give up. We never give in. We keep striving, we keep pushing, and we keep living Dr. King's dream of fairness and equality and hope for each and every one, because it is doable. I'm a shining example of that. But once again, these are things that we can't do by ourselves. You have to have good teammates like I have at Mississippi Power Company to accomplish the things that we want to do. So what is it we must do? We must continue to focus on education. We got to make sure, particularly our children, that we give them the best educational opportunity that is possible. We cannot allow for our educational systems to have good and bad. Everybody in this economy to take full advantage of the opportunities that are available in our economy. We must make sure that our educational systems are giving our students what they need to survive and perform and be productive in our society. That's one thing. Our communities, we have to make sure that we're bringing our communities together, whether it's in Mississippi, whether it's Alabama, whether it's anywhere else, to make sure we take advantage of the growth opportunities, the economic expansion opportunities that are available. In order to do that, we must all come together and work together. That we provide the things that the Legacy Business League is doing. We're providing all the educational opportunities. We're providing all the things that companies want to see when they look to relocate. We saw some announcements just this past week. A data center coming to Mississippi. A $10 billion investment. That's a tremendous opportunity for Mississippi to show what it is, to show what it can do, to show my Mississippi being that M-I, crooked letter I, humpback I, my Mississippi. Okay? My Mississippi. Let's make Mississippi something that we are all proud that we stand up and defend it and advocate for it and show that it's a place for hope and opportunity for each and every one. That's what community looks like. That's what community feels like. Not just on Saturday when Ole Miss and State are playing, but every day. Every day. Every day. The opportunity for us to cheer each other on, to advance the cause and to make sure we're doing all the right things to advance our economy. The other thing we got to do, we have to make sure, and there's no age gap, there's no age limitation. I challenge each and every one of you to make sure you are fully embracing technology. Okay? Our society is not going back. Our society, we're not going to take the iPhones from you. There's an iPhone 17 coming out next year. There's a new Android version coming. Technology is not going backwards. Technology is only advancing. Artificial intelligence is not just for some. AI is not just AI in the alphabets. We as a people must make sure that we're embracing and understanding the opportunities that technology will bring to us, because what comes with it? Robotics, self-driving cars, jobs, other opportunities that you cannot take yourself out of the game because you say, well, I'm just going to let my grandchild handle technology. I don't like that stuff. That is not a choice we have. We have to make sure we as people that we're embracing the technology opportunities that are forthcoming, because it's only going to grow and be faster, but it's also going to make our lives better. Make our lives better is what technology will afford us. And lastly, let me say this. One of my favorite actors is Denzel Washington. And Denzel talks a lot. And I was listening to a podcast he was doing a few months back. And he talked about his mother, who was a beautician. And he was in his mother's beauty shop one day, years and years ago, and Denzel will admit he was not a good student in college. He was in his mother's beauty shop, and his lady said to him, young man, you're going to travel the world. This is before he became the actor that he is today. You're going to travel the world. He had no idea what she was talking about, but she was foreshadowing this incredible acting career that he has accomplished and that he has experienced. But as he talks about this, he talks about the roles and responsibilities that we have as people. And it's not just to aspire to make a living, but it's to aspire to make a difference. Each of us, we have this incredible opportunity in the legacy of Dr. King to make sure that we're giving back, to make sure that we're helping somebody else. One of the things now that I'm intimately involved in Atlanta is homelessness, because I think it is a travesty. But I think it's only going to get better, it's only going to be eliminated if I and others get involved. So we have to help, we have to extend a helping hand, to help somebody, to make sure that we're not just so focused and so selfishly thinking about ourselves, but we're making sure that we're finding ways to lend a helping hand to students, to the elderly, to different communities, to make sure we're doing all we can to lift them up. I think that's a challenge that in today's time that we all must embrace, we all must embark on. We all must say, what is it I can do to make a difference, to help somebody's life be better? If we do that, if all of us do that, we can make a difference, and we can have the kind of life, the kind of communities, and the kind of society that we all so desperately desire to have. And so, Legacy Business Link today, Mississippi, again, it's my honor, it's my privilege, it's my pleasure to be with you here today on this King celebration, on this harmony event that you're doing, bringing so many people together, because as you look at harmony, as you harmonize, everybody singing their note. When you harmonize, what happens? You make beautiful music. And so that's what we're desiring to do, and I'm so proud to be here with you today to support. Thank you very much. You got some questions for me?
Mr. Womak, would you like to know if you have 5 minutes for questions?
I do, yeah.
The question that I have, I admire the position that you hold. Mississippi Power is admirable to see another black man being the head of such a large corporation. So I do want to give you a hand for that.
Thank you very much.
One of the questions I do have for a man in your position, and in the area that we live in is how do you deal with workplace nepotism that holds you marginalized in a position when you know that you have so much more potential, but there's something bigger than you that you have to overcome. How do you deal with that workplace nepotism?
You look for help. You look for help inside the organization, but you also look for help for outside the organization. I don't know what the rules of nepotism are in the organization, but I think it's something that as you look at your performance, as you work, hopefully you're getting good guidance and support from your manager or from leaders, and you having good expectations being established for you, and you give the opportunity to say what's working well and things that you think need to be made better. I mean, one of the things we talk a lot about at Southern Company and Mississippi Power is culture. The culture is incredibly important, I think, for a successful organization. And so, what is the nepotism? What is it causing? How is it holding you back? How is holding you back from being all you can be? What impact is it having on the organization? Are the family members not performing? I think some of those kind of questions have to be asked and then dealt with inside the organization as you go forward. I mean, I'm not opposed to family members working in companies, but at the same time, they've got to be held accountable to perform, not just because they are a family member. I mean, the same accountabilities we impose on anybody else, they have to meet those or respond to those as well. But I think hopefully you have an environment where you can ask the questions and you can get support from an organization, whether it's a concerns type or an ethics type organization, if there are those kinds of issues. But also, like I said, seek advice inside the company. But if there are people outside the company that may have some similar experience, feel free to ask them as well. That's kind of be some of the things I would think about with your comment and with your question.
Mr. Womak, thank you.
Yes.
One more question. This will be the last question from myself. My name is Carlos Bell.
Hey, Carlos.
I work for Wagner Engineering, also the past board chairman for Memorial Hospital. And I'd like to know what are some books that you read or apps or podcasts that you listen to keep yourself motivated?
I try to read a book a month. I'm going through now a book about saints and as they pursue happiness. I just read a book about Henry Ford the past month. In the month prior to that, I just read a book by Walter Isaacson about Elon Musk. And so those are kind of the last three. My next book will probably be a new John Grisham that just came out. I've read all of Grisham's books, so every now and then I try to find something a little lighter and not too heavy to kind of keep myself entertained. But I think it's very important, and that's the other thing I say to each and every one of you. Keep learning. Keep learning. No matter what age you are, keep learning, keep reading, keep finding things to challenge you. I talk a lot about inside of our company this thing I call relentless curiosity and not being complacent and not accepting things the way they are because things are going to change. And so how do you make sure you're peering around the corner that you see what's coming? And so embrace this thing called relentless curiosity about what's coming next and what does it mean? What opportunities does it present for me? But also what challenges may it provide and may it offer? But that's, like I said, I just think it's so important in this world today, and there's so much information, so many things available to you. I mean, if you don't want to read, listen to a podcast. I mean, listen to books on tape, books on your iPod, your iPad, inside your car with Sirius XM or New York Times, whatever you want to read or listen to. But continue to learn. Continue to see what's happening out in the world. Understand what's going to happen with this new administration. What's happening in in Russia and Ukraine? What's happening in China? What's happening in North Korea? I mean, be curious not just about what's happening in Mississippi, but what's happening in other parts of the United States, but also what's happening in the rest of this incredible global world that we're a part of. I just think it gives you, knowledge is what? Knowledge is strength. And guess what? Can't nobody take it away from you. Can't nobody take it away from you. And so those are some things that I just think are, as we look at life, as we look at the opportunities that are in front of us, some things I think are so very important for us to consider and embrace as we pursue the things we want to be and things we want to be when we grow up, and what we want for our children and for our neighbors and others in our community. Tess.
All right, I would first like to introduce myself. My name is Ozzy Johnson, but I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
What challenges did you face coming up, and how did you achieve success?
Isaac's question was, what challenge did I face and how do I achieve success? I had a lot of challenges. Growing up in South Alabama in the 60s, I had a lot of challenges. But I never gave up. I kept studying, I kept learning, I kept working hard, like I said, my grandmother always told me that I was just as good as anybody else, but I was better than most. So I always got that encouragement from her. As I went through my professional career, I mean, there were always things you had to learn, new opportunities, new skills, new jobs. And yeah, you got to study, you got to put the time in. And one of the things that I've never been one who hesitated about working. I mean, I'll work hard, I'll outwork most people. I don't mind working 12, 14, 16 hours a day, okay? So I'm gonna put the work in, I'm gonna put the effort in. And one of the things that I said earlier that I think has been incredibly helpful to me in my career, acknowledging that I can't do nothing by myself. I have to be a good teammate, I have to work well with others, I have to get along well with others. Yeah, I gotta show it, I gotta do my role, I gotta carry my weight. But I wanna create an environment where people enjoy working with Womak, that we create that kind of environment, because I'm also learning from them. I mean, the team in Mississippi, Sean Shirt and Giff and Matt, all these guys. I mean, we sit, we debate, we talk about issues, we talk about things. I learn just as much from them as they probably get from me. And so those are some of my ways of whether there's difficulties or whether there's challenges or whatever, to make sure I put the work in, to make sure I study, but also make sure that collaboration that I have with others is so very important for me as I look to overcome challenges, but also as I look to kind of advance the organization, I look to advance the work to get things done in terms of making sure we're bringing teams together, bringing people together. Those are some of the things I think about as I face challenges. Okay? Very good. Guys, again, thank you so very much. Wish you continued success and have a good rest of the